Let's just start the backup audio here.
I'm just gonna get a pen and paper.
A pen and paper, why?
Nate? No. If we're talking about programming, I need that.
What do you need that for?
If we're talking about programming, I need it.
Why?
Because I can refer back to things.
You are the only one on the podcast today, so
We started?
Yeah, it'll be very apparent if you're not paying attention.
Okay.
Just so you're aware. What are we doing? Well, do you want to talk about LeBron James first? No, I'm just kidding. What are we doing this week? It's test week. Explain that. This podcast is going to be about our test week here at NCR, just to set that stage.
So, we're testing some areas of fitness.
Okay, what are we testing? I guess you don't want to give it all away yet, or do you care?
Is this coming out tonight?
Yeah.
Actually, you know what, man? Do you mind if I check?
Make it quick.
Well, I want to tell you what we're testing. And
I know what we're testing.
care.
I can tell you what we're testing.
I don't care if people know because I want them to PR. Tomorrow we got snatch, clean and jerk. Wednesday we got bench press, pull-ups, handstand push-ups. Thursday we got a 2K bike, a 2K row, and 100 burpees, which is a lot.
Yeah, that's really aggressive for that. We'll
I'll get there. Deadlift on Friday, wall balls and toe to bar as well, and then Saturday's just a fun workout. Yeah.
Cool. Why did you pick those movements?
I'm not crazy about testing wads.
Mm-hmm.
I think we do that every day.
Okay. You mean like Fran, Karen, Grace, that kind of stuff?
The bench press, you'll notice like the CrossFit total in there, other than the bench press.
Mm-hmm.
The strict press, I find, it's kind of a weird one. I don't think it's like an accurate representation of like someone's upper body pushing strength.
Okay.
Whereas a bench press, I think we get a little bit more out of it. Also, we've been doing more benching than we have strict pressing, so
that's true. Yep.
That's another reason for that. The Oli lifts are the Oli lifts. There's no lift off this year, so I want to. A lot of the stuff that
There's no lift off this year? Man, no lift off, no regionals, no invitational. We'll do a whole nother podcast
The
on
fact is that there's no lift off this year. I can't confirm any other facts other than people have been fired from HQ in the media department for the games.
Mm-hmm.
I'm either testing something because we have been working on it and I want to see if the athletes are getting better at it,
Mm-hmm.
or I want to get a baseline for something and I'm going to be programming a lot of that in the future.
Which ones are which?
Let me get my list. Well, today the back squat and the mile we did this exact workout on June 25th.
Yeah.
The 1 rep snatch and the clean and jerk. We're heading into a time where we've already kind of transitioned a little bit. Where we're
more Oli lifting.
A lot more Oli lifting.
Why? Why now? What's this time?
Well, we've been doing a lot of squatting,
Okay.
So I feel like we've laid a good foundation for some baseline strength. Now I want to test that strength in a explosive capacity with weightlifting. Also, it's just kind of where the year's taken us. The bench press, again, two things there. We've done a bunch of bench pressing, and I want to get an idea of upper body pushing strength.
Mm-hmm.
Pull-ups. I can't think of the last time we've done that.
Max set, pop on regular pull-ups.
Yeah, and I think that's just valuable information for any workout for any athlete who's in the sport. Max handstand push-ups, same thing.
Mm-hmm.
2K bike, gonna see a lot of biking workouts coming in.
Really?
Especially with the fall coming in, less running.
That's true.
We have 4 Concept 2 bikes. I'd like to put them to good use.
Mm-hmm.
The max deadlift. Honestly, the last time I remember doing that was probably 2 years ago. It was December 17th, I want to say.
Okay.
We did it in an in-house competition. So, that's valuable information. The 2K row and the burpees are not that important.
Mm-hmm.
The wall balls, we've been doing a lot of wall balls, a lot of max effort sets. So
yeah, that's true.
We just did Karen too. So people should be hitting a PR on that. And then max total bar, another movement that we see a lot in CrossFit that I just, want people to get a baseline. That's it. And then I was thinking of next week maybe doing some more workouts, but I'm not crazy about the workouts.
Yeah. Right. Why?
I mean, we do a lot of benchmark workouts here.
Yeah,
right?
we do. We definitely do.
Elizabeth, Amanda, we do these things. Karen, we just did Karen a couple weeks ago, so it's like...
And we do variations of them. We've done a lot of Fran and Amanda variations.
And every time those workouts come up, it's like a test, right? The way I see a test is like a range of reps or weight. You know what I mean? So.
Why the 2K bike and 2K row on the same day, and 100 burpees? Like I said, I don't really care about the 2K row and the 100 burpees. The class will be brief that way. Right.
I want people to go as hard as they can on that bike.
Okay.
Just because what I'm going to be I'm going to be turning it back around to, based on your 2K bike time, hit this sequence. Right. 10 seconds faster than your 2K.
So it'll be hit the 2K bike hard and then just kind of cruise on the other stuff.
Yeah, and I might get athletes who are like, well, I've never hit a 2K row. Okay, well let's hit a 2K row PR. Right. But the most valuable part
that's the worst thing to ever do, I think.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of that either.
No. Yeah. Interesting. Why are there so many more strength and gymnastics tests than there are metabolic tests? We did a 1 mile run today, but why aren't we doing a 5K as well?
I think as a coach, I have a pretty good idea of what an athlete's 5K will be based on their 1 mile time. Now that might vary depending on the athlete, but that's a good enough test for me. Another thing you got to consider is I only have an hour a day to test these people. So
that's 30 minutes taken away at least.
If we test a 5K run.
Yeah.
And I truly think that would have to be the only test that day.
Why not extend the test week over 2 weeks and have more weightlifting 1 week, more metabolic the next week?
Because it's not that important.
Okay.
It's not that important. There's no doubt in my mind that every single athlete that comes to this gym is getting fitter one way or the other. I just want to see where they're at, see if what we've been doing has been working, and develop a baseline for programming moving forward.
Right. Why is testing as a whole important then for the athlete?
To see if they're getting better. Right? We do something really unique at this gym where we offer our athletes priority work, right? Extra work to do. A lot of them don't get all of it done, so this is a good way for them to check in to see if they're doing the right stuff.
Yeah, which of it they should be picking kind of thing?
Yeah. So Mia, for example, she PR'd both today.
Yeah.
Right? And she's notorious for doing priority work routinely. We see her here every day after the 9:30 class. And so now it's just kind of a little bit of a positive reinforcement in her brain that I'm doing it right. She had a 300-pound squat, and I think she took over 30 seconds off her 1 mile run. So she's doing it right.
Right. But for someone like her who maybe, it's safe to say that obviously her mile is significantly less impressive than her back squat, because her back squat's the heaviest in the gym for females, I think, and her mile is definitely not the fastest. So if she was just going to be picking one or the other, the priority, then the purpose would be for her to be yes, obviously, I need to pick the metabolic stuff more. Is that kind of where you're, for the athletes who aren't going to do all of their priority work?
If you're PRing in both things that we do today, I think you're doing everything. You're good. Okay. You're on the right path.
Right.
Now let's say, I'll take another email. Or another email. I got an email. Another athlete, Steve Cloutier. He hit 10 pounds less on his back squat, and I think he PR'd by a couple seconds on his run. So the chat was had with it. Yeah, and I'll have this chat with you right now so that everyone knows what this chat sounds like. You need to lay off the running, then the conditioning. You have great conditioning, but you need to get stronger now. So when you see, that conditioning piece in the priority work, you can skip that and maybe do some of the strength stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and I think that's kind of I obviously know what my weaknesses are, and that's kind of how I treat the priority. Is if I'm going to do something, it'll be the thing that everyone else probably shouldn't do for the most part, because I feel in CrossFit at least, usually the strength, everyone wants to do the heavy lifts. Most people should do the other stuff. People like me are the opposite, whereas the other stuff I don't need as much as the strength stuff.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's it's a good highlight, I guess, of like a reminder that like, wow, yeah, my back squat really does suck. Maybe I should do a little bit more to like balance that. But like what's like the big, like, I don't know, how often do you do test weeks? Let's start there.
I've never done one before.
You've never done a test week before?
No.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Why are you doing it now? Why a whole week? What did you do before? You just randomly would test this stuff?
Yeah, I'd randomly test stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Like when the back squat and mile, I was just kind of like, all right, weather's nice, gonna get them running a lot. Let's see how fast we can get them running a mile.
Mm-hmm.
A couple reasons. It's never like before I took over the programming, it was me, PT, and Pete.
Mm-hmm.
So it was a lot more inconsistent.
Right.
In terms of.
In what way?
Well, it's just like to test something would be kind of, you know, it wouldn't give you as much value.
Okay.
Like if I did a test week for my 3 weeks of programming.
I see what you're saying.
Yeah, it's just like it's kind of like this is more. I have a long-term plan for the athletes, so it fits in hand with that long.
What is your long-term plan right now?
Well, I want to get them ready for the Open.
Okay.
Like the Open is kind of.
The Open
like,
in October?
I don't know. I hope not.
It's loud. Sorry.
I hope it's not in October, but I don't think it is.
Yeah, I don't think so. I think it's next
Team
year.
Series is the 2 last weekends of September, so I don't think they'd transition right into Team.
So why, if we're trying to get ready for the Open, why do we care about our strength numbers? The Open's not a strength test.
Yes, it is.
How?
Well, 2018, we saw 45 deadlifts at 315 pounds. If that's not a strength test to you, I don't know. Like, that's hard. We saw a max squat clean. Those are 2 tests. Those are 2 scored events that are pretty, like, I mean, a test of strength, I would say. Not lightweight. In 2017, we saw a snatch event that went heavy. Finishing weight was 265 pounds. That's strength. 2016, we had.
I think there was no. I don't think there was any max in that one. 2015, we had the 1 arm clean and jerk.
There must have been something. In
but if it's like 1 out of 7 events, you know what I mean? Like, why aren't our tests in our benchmarks just the WODs, because it makes up 6 of the 7.
Well, here's
workouts.
the thing: when we train, we don't do 1 rep maxes, right? So, I think having a heavier back squat will make you do a faster Fran. You know what I'm saying?
Okay. Yeah.
Have you ever seen Paul Tremblay deal with 95-pound thrusters? Doesn't look very
a little
heavy.
easier than when I deal with them. Yeah.
Right. And what's your max back squat?
Less than his.
So, if we were to put that. If we were to track that based on percentages, you're working at a higher percentage because your 1 rep max is lower. 95 pounds to PT is like a very small percentage for him, which therefore makes it very light for him.
Right.
So that's why it's important. Not necessarily to turn over that 1 RM strength, but
just in general.
The stronger you are, the lighter load will be, right?
So did we do anything special leading up to test week, or was it pretty much the same thing?
I eased up a little bit last week. Like, you know, Saturday's workout, for example, I backed off the volume of deadlifts just because I didn't want people to feel...
120 wasn't very many.
No. Yeah. Well, between 2 people.
Yeah, and it was only 225. I'll give you that.
Yeah, I mean, we did a workout here last week that had 84 deadlifts at the same weight.
Yeah.
But for 1 person.
For 1 person. Yeah.
So 60 for 1 person.
And like a couple weeks before, we had at least 45 at 365.
Yeah.
So we did that 10, 8, whatever. So then yes, it was very like comparative.
Yeah.
I just think it's still funny.
So.
Yeah, that makes sense. What about after test week?
Then we get right back into it.
You don't give them like a time to like recover or anything?
No,
like
because
that?
this is going to be like, this is not a hard. It's not a hard week.
What about
of training.
central nervous system stuff? Are people going to be pretty fried from like maxing out all the time?
Yeah, I mean, you just saw Pete Shaw.
He was mangled.
He's crying about his CNS.
Yeah.
He'll be fine.
Yeah.
Bet you he'll hit a PR tomorrow.
Is it because we're CrossFitters, so we're not actually hitting true maxes as what our strength potential would be? Because like,
I just don't think like,
if an Olympic lifter actually goes and hits a max, which they might do once a year, they need a week to recover, right? Because that's legitimately the extent of what their body can handle.
Yeah.
Whereas there's no CrossFitter, good CrossFitter, who's anywhere close to what their body can handle.
Yeah.
Because that's not what we try to do.
Here's how I see things. Okay. I like to add total poundage every time we hit heavy reps.
Mm-hmm.
So, for example, last week we had a 3x8 back squat as heavy as possible.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Can I borrow that pen? Actually, I can just do it.
As long as you don't click it.
I'll take it.
No. Oh, you actually need it?
Yeah. So what did you hit those at?
For what?
Like, I think Pete hit them at 365. So that's 8,760 total pounds.
Okay.
Pete building up to 405 which is what he hit today. There's no way he hit 8,760 pounds. So like, my answer to your question is his CNS is going to be completely fine.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was maybe more just because we had the 1 RM back squat and then the 1 mile run probably.
Yeah.
That's why he was mangled.
Yeah.
Not so much just the strength stuff.
Yeah, I think like, were you mangled?
No, I was completely fine.
Yeah, so he's got really bad allergies right now too. So I think that's playing a little bit of a part for him too. But I think our athletes will feel good next week.
Yeah.
I don't think they're going to be banged up from this week, and that's not my intention to bang them up.
How do you come at it from like a coaching perspective? Like, do you let people squat with their knees caving a little bit so they can get a true 1 RM?
That's a good question.
Are you super strict on it?
Yeah, absolutely not. So, you know, and like in my 930 class, I think I had like 3 brand new athletes. Mm-hmm. So I had them go for a 10 rep max instead of a 1 rep max. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and then they were using super light loads.
But what about like athletes who have been here for a while and they get to a certain point where you can tell their form's breaking down?
I don't know. I'll stop them.
You'll stop them?
Yeah, I'll stop them.
Even if they're like 10 years in the game?
If I think they're going to hurt themselves, yeah, I'll stop them. I don't care how long they've been in the game.
Okay.
Dude, if I was going for a PR and you saw something you didn't like and you told me to drop it, I would drop it in a heartbeat. Because you're looking out for my safety and I'm looking out for every single one of my athletes' safeties. I would expect you to do the same, Nate.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to see you pop up and tell it.
Yeah, right. Like I've had surgery on my hip. Like
whatever it is.
If you think I'm in a compromised position, please let me know. I will stop.
Do you get a lot of blowback from that though?
Sometimes.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I don't care. I just think those people are assholes. Pardon my English, but like I care about you. I don't want you to hurt yourself. I've had hip surgery.
What's the conversation you have with athletes from like as not just talking to me, but like talking to the athlete who might be a little sensitive, especially in the moment when they're like, why wouldn't you let me keep going? Like I feel like I can do more. Like, what do you say to them?
I'm honest with them, man. Like I'm just like, hey, John, I stopped you because I'm worried for your safety. Mm-hmm. You know, like it's not a complicated conversation. Like I'm looking out for you, pal. Mm-hmm. It's not that I don't want you to PR. I don't want you to hurt yourself. And you know, being someone who's hurt themselves, I don't want you to have to do that. It's not fun. I want you to come back in here tomorrow and hit another PR.
Is there a distinction between how you would do that with an athlete outside of a class who's a competitive athlete you're testing? Like, say you were programming for Johnny Hunka, for example, who you program for, and he sends you a video of his squat and it looks like complete garbage. Do you yell at him for keeping on going, or is it different?
I don't yell. I try not to yell at anyone.
Yeah, but you see what I'm saying? Like, is it different for athletes who are trying to, not go to regionals anymore?
Yeah. So any athlete that I work with. Outside the gym, they know me, and I'm a stickler for form and stuff. So if they send me a video and it looks like garbage, I'll tell them. You know, like I can't really stop those people because I'm not with them. But I'll tell them.
What if you're training an athlete in the gym who's your athlete? They're not doing class, but they're like, because I mean, okay, in competition, people move like shit sometimes to get a little bit more weight up.
Yeah. Right.
Like you saw in the CrossFit Total this year, there was a lot of athletes who were not moving nicely to get weight up.
I beg to differ, man.
Pete's judging on Margot Lopez. Remember that?
Yeah.
Her deadlift, that was not nice.
No, it wasn't.
Sarah Sigmund's daughter, it wasn't nice.
Yeah. But I mean, that's two of many.
Yeah, no, I'm not saying that athletes at the top level don't move well. I'm saying that if they're at the CrossFit Games and $300,000 is on the line, then they're willing maybe to keep going. Do you know what I mean? Like,
yeah, they have more to lose, I guess.
Yeah. And so all I'm saying is that, like, you know, a lot of athletes trying to get there will put themselves in that mindset on a daily basis. How would you coach an athlete who's in that mindset of like, I'm going to do literally whatever it takes? Is it the exact same conversation you have to an athlete in the class? Like, I don't care, you're going to hurt yourself? Or like...
Yeah, dude, I don't want them to hurt themselves. Like, yeah, I don't want anyone who I have any impact on to hurt themselves. Mm-hmm. Whether they're going to regionals, the games, or they're doing WOG K-Toberfest. Like, I don't want anyone to hurt themselves.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, so if one of my athletes is like, if I see one of my athletes go and they're about to hit a 20-pound PR and their knees are touching, I'm going to call them off that rep. Yeah.
Do you yell at the mid-rep, or do you wait for them to finish the rep? Because that can be kind of dangerous mid-back squat. Do you think, or no?
Yeah, if I see... back squatting is kind of a unique...
Yeah.
It's kind of a unique... Because I'm sure they can't hear me if they're mid-back squat.
Right.
But like a deadlift...
Or they might not register what you're saying.
Yeah, a deadlift, like, you know, when I coach the teens class, we have a strong rule, and even sometimes with the adults, where like I might call the rep, and I'll move towards them, and my body language will let them know that they're in a dangerous position and they need to drop the weight.
Are we going to do that when we coach the deadlift this week? Are we going to like brief that, do you think?
Yeah, I hope Pete includes that in the outline for sure. I mean, I know I will, and I will have that conversation with the class before we even start touching barbells, like,
just so they're aware.
Yeah, like, this is a dangerous lift, and I don't want you guys to hurt yourself. So if I call you, it's not because I don't want you to PR, it's because I don't want you to hurt yourself.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Can get heated though, eh?
Yeah, you know,
have you ever had an athlete, you don't have to go into specifics, but has there ever been instances where it's like really poorly received?
Yep. During the in-house comp, there's a couple of them I remember.
During an in-house comp?
Yeah.
Interesting. Yeah. Talk about that. You don't have to go into like names.
Well, no, just a couple athletes, like, they were just mad at me, and myself, Pete, and PT there was two lines, one girl and one guy, and if either one of us told you to drop the bar, you had to drop the bar, and the athletes did a great job at listening.
This was for adults?
Yes.
Okay.
But yeah, some athletes were just like, man, like, I was like, why'd you call me off that rep? And it's like, well, I didn't want you to hurt yourself.
Right.
And a lot of the time they feel like they're in a good position.
Yeah, it's hard to tell sometimes.
Yeah. I mean, I'm at a point in this sport where I value that kind of information. You know, like, if I'm deadlifting and you tell me to drop the bar, I am eternally grateful to you.
Yeah. Well, it's also, and then there's also a lot of people like me who like aren't trying to do this to go to fake regionals. Like, you're trying to just be as fit as possible just for general life, and like, I don't ever want to. That's why that push class workout last week, when I came off and felt like my back hurt, I was like, that was dumb. You know what? We definitely appreciate it. You know, maybe you and me for different reasons, but like, I think in general everyone should, and anyone who doesn't, it's probably just they're going to end up hurting themselves at some point.
Well, yeah, one of my most valuable like teaching, learning opportunities was the teens online qualifier 2 years ago. We had two kids that were sitting real pretty, and the last workout was a deadlift that, like, for one of them would have been his 1 rep max, and the other one was his current 1 rep max. And I had a really hard time with that because they couldn't deadlift that weight safely, but they could deadlift it. So it was really tough for me as a coach. I basically, you know, at the end of the day, I called them off. Like, I pulled the plug on that workout, and I think they both submitted a 0. And that completely took them out of the running for going to the CrossFit Games.
Not a lot of gyms would do that.
2 years later, do I regret my decision? Absolutely not.
Yeah.
Was it hard to make that decision in the moment? Yes. But now I'm glad I made that decision.
Well, they'd probably be pissed too, because they probably have a lot of their competitors that wouldn't have someone looking out for them like that. You know what I mean? Who wouldn't care as much. So.
Yeah, exactly. So it's tough. It's tough, man. It's tough.
So I got a different question for you.
Okay.
The testing stuff, purely from like a competitive athlete's perspective, is it good for like their mental game, or do you find sometimes it can create bad stuff? So like, let's say I had this unrealistic expectation that I could qualify for regionals. Let's pretend those still exist. And with that unrealistic expectation, you know, because I'm good at gymnastics and can do okay in workouts sometimes, and then I go and do my 1 rep back squat and realize I squat less than the girls at the games or regionals, and instantly realize that my hopes and dreams are stupid. Does that happen? And is testing a positive or negative thing for athletes who want to compete?
It shouldn't be a negative thing. Like I tell people too, like, you know.
Should they take it as a reality check though? Because a guy at 23 who squats 295, and I'd say to be a regional athlete you need to squat what, 405 probably for the most part.
I'll be straight with you, Nate.
Yeah.
I don't do testing for the competitive athletes.
No, I know.
Yeah, okay.
I know. I'm just talking
so like
for them specifically.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know, like it's very situational, right? Like
this is more
you might have a class that has super high energy and I try to explain this to my athletes as best as I can, whether they're competitive or not. Whether you PR today doesn't mean you're better or worse. You know? It just gives me some information.
Yeah. But I'm talking like just with your competitive athletes alone, is it a tool that you like? Is it a tool they should take as a reality check sometimes, or is it a tool you might avoid with certain athletes because you know they're not there yet, but you believe they can get there? So like an athlete whose strength is a problem.
I wouldn't coach someone who is afraid of a 1 rep max.
Afraid of the reality of the 1 rep max, though, is what I mean.
Like, are you talking about? I'm talking about like who's just mortified of doing a 1 rep.
No. I'm talking about you as a coach. You see an athlete who has strength as a problem, but you really believe that if you put in 3 or 4 years of hard work on their strength, they'll get to a point where they can be a competitive strength athlete in CrossFit. But you also know that if you break their heart rate now with a 1RM, they're going to be so distraught that they won't put in the 4 years of hard work. Do you see what I'm saying?
I see what you're saying, and I think what my answer to you is going to be, I don't think I would take on that athlete.
Yeah.
Like, that's kind of a shitty attitude.
Mentally kind of.
Yeah, that's like super mentally weak, right?
Yeah.
Like, if you can't handle the fact that you're bad at something, like that, I can't help you. You know, like, you know, I can't help some people, but if someone's like not like has anxiety about doing a 1 rep max back squat because they don't want to be, I can't. That's some heavy duty like.
Put it off. Interesting. How long till we test again? Is this going to be like a reoccurring thing?
Yeah, it might be. We'll see how. I mean, it's been day 1 of something I've never done before, so we'll see how the rest of the week goes. But you know, my intention is that everyone hits some sort of PR this week. But most importantly, I want people to record this information.
I was going to say, that message you gave at the end of the class.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Like, I just for you guys because I don't coach any more classes today, and I didn't do this for the one class I did coach, but I took out a notebook while I was taking out the scores, and I asked Carl his time and his weight, and it took me, 7 seconds to write that stuff down. And it just goes to show you guys how easy it is and how like time consuming it's not to write down your scores. The time that you put into documenting that versus the valuable information it will give you later on in life is priceless. Yeah, like I know I have my book, my first book up there, and I know that I can. If I'm having a crappy day of training, I can pull out that book, find a number, and it will put a smile on my face. Should we do it right now for the...
Well, the camera's about to shut off because it's almost 30 minutes.
Okay, so should we just wrap it up?
Yeah, we'll just wrap it up. But you know, I'm sure they'd all be really excited to see 2012 Reza's back squat. But we'll save that for next time. Cool. Thanks, man.
Okay, bye, guys.